up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Woogity Bros We Out Here podcast. I am your boy, John Sheridan here, and I got my boy to my left, Joe.
What's going on, everybody? Back at it again.
And my other homie, McLove.
Sides.
Dude. Yo, I saw a license plate today, and it just said, bruh, with a bunch of H's at the end.
Oh, my goodness. I like it.
It was awesome.
They think they paid like $100 extra just to have that.
Totally worth it.
I mean, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I'd rather get like my name or some shit, but then again, I don't need people knowing what car is that. I get like jaywalking, they'd be like, well, we know who that motherfucker is.
Yep.
True.
My goodness. So how y'all been?
I saw one of those murder hornets the other day. Have you seen one of those yet?
No, those aren't real.
They're real.
Wait a minute.
No.
They're fucking real.
What kind of murder hornets have you seen? Because I've seen ones, they're big and they're black and white.
This one was about this big.
Yeah.
And it looked like a regular hornet. It was just massive.
So it was just a big hornet, not a murder hornet, is what you're saying.
The ones I've seen
it would kill some people.
Just because you felt like it was gonna murder you does not make it a murder hornet, my friend. He's like, guys, listen, it was really big. It had to have been a murder hornet. It's the only way it makes sense. My goodness.
This thing had the look in its eyes like it was gonna murder me at any second.
There's nothing worse when a hornet flies in your car. That's like the most terrifying feeling.
For all the listeners not from Massachusetts, he said car, a vehicle, automobile.
Oh, come on now.
It's a car.
When you get in the car? In the what, sir?
It's a car.
The car. Jesus.
Shit, making me blush.
It's okay. I'm down here in Tennessee. Like my southern accent, my Boston accent comes out every once in a while, and people be like, "Oh, I can hear it there." I'm like, if I were to go to Boston and tell them I'm from Boston, they'd kick me the fuck out. Listen, I'm like, I'm 30 minutes south of Boston, birthplace of the chocolate chip cookie. That's my claim to fame. That's how. I'm like, listen, y'all better respect me. If it weren't from my hometown, y'all wouldn't have chocolate chip cookies, bitch.
I heard someone the other day say Nomar Garcia Parra, but like how we say it.
Nomar Garcia Parra?
It sounded ridiculous. Nomar Garcia Parra.
Yeah. We just drop certain letters, like they're just irrelevant. I mean, like
we emphasize them.
We gave up on, like, Massachusetts gave up on ours. New England gave up on ours.
We had to.
We just like, you know what? Like, we should replace those R's with just like 6 H's. It looks way better.
Sounds better too. It sounds better too.
What's sad is, like, I've been down in like Tennessee for so long that I notice Boston accents, and like it frustrates me at times now because I'm like, yo, just say the word correctly. Like, everyone's been saying the word correctly down here. They might say it differently, but it's correct. Like, they say car, you know what I mean? Like, they say all 3 letters, but like they just say with that twang down here. And then like I hear like somebody from Massachusetts, like I watch a Boston movie and they're like, get in the car. And I'm like, whoa, oh my God, sir, there's more letters in that word. Just finish it, please. It's terrible.
Everyone from Boston is either Matt Damon or they're Mark Wahlberg.
Or Ben Affleck.
Or Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Or Ben Affleck. When it comes to movies, those are the 3 guys they are. It doesn't matter if there's somebody different.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's the only 3 you need, really. Some version of their voice.
How long have you been in Tennessee for?
Little over 4, almost 4.5 years.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
4.5 years.
Bro. I got. You know how many accents I have now? Like, you should hear me like when I'm talking about myself. Like, shit. I mean, that sounds like I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, kind of. but but you know what I mean? Like my accent, like I sound like I'm from Georgia sometimes. You know, I sound like country as hell. I sound like I'm from like the hood. Sometimes I sound proper as shit. I'm like, hey guys, yeah, let's go. I'm like, two thumbs up, bro.
You're definitely someone that likes to play around with their personalities and their voices that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining thing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like doing different accents and stuff. It's just like it's to the point now, like I'll be in a conversation and like my accent will just change. Like mid conversation, it just like I'll say some shit and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Or like when I'm talking to people with heavy accents down here, like a heavy southern twang, it like if I'm talking to them long enough, like I'll pick up on it and like I'll like start talking that way, like inadvert like you know, subconsciously, like I'm just doing it, like nothing happened. And then afterwards I'm like, I hope they don't think I was making fun of them. Like I didn't mean to talk in a southern accent. It just happens there. So yeah. I'm adaptable. I'm a cultural chameleon. That's how I like to refer to myself.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a
Chameleon.
cultural chameleon. I just blend in
Joey
wherever.
Chameleon.
That's what I do. I just blend.
Well, on that note, we're
I
you and your blendy ass self. We're
listen.
gonna we're gonna segue this right on into the 2K ratings that came out today, I
Oof.
believe. Was it today?
Oof.
Or a
I
few
think they
days
came out
ago?
today.
It's that time of the year again already.
So yeah, man. Can you believe it? We ain't even got the games. We don't even play them.
That's how it be. That's how they get you hyped for the game because now you like, I
Yeah.
want to put these ratings to use. So
Well,
what we
now I
got?
gotta know who's
All
top
right.
10, right?
Yeah. So
All
let's hear
right.
this top 10.
Now, well, let me hear you guess at number one. Who do you think's the best player in the NBA?
I'm gonna guess Jokic is gonna have the top rating.
Okay, McLovin.
I've already looked at the list, but
Ah,
it is Jokic.
Yeah.
Can I
Let's
just
hear.
step in and say he's the he's the best player, but he's not a 99.
He's a
There
97, I
is
bet.
He's a 98. There
Oof.
is no
98.
99 this year.
I respect that. But
I
It's
don't.
weird. I mean, Madden does their whole big thing, you know. They present this award to players,
yeah.
that make the Madden 99 club. I think that's kind of cool. Like they give them like special cleats and all that and like a
Yeah,
big
that's
friggin'
sick.
chain. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's a one good thing Madden fucking gets right. But we're not talking about Madden here. We're talking about the 2K
2K.
ratings. Yep. So let's get to it. We got Jokic at a 98. Giannis Antetokounmpo at a 96. You have Kevin Durant at 3 at a 96. LeBron James on 4 for 96. You got Steph Curry at 5 for 96. Joel Embiid at 6 for 96. Luka Doncic, 7, 95. Jason Tatum, 8, 95. Jimmy Butler, which I thought was a pretty big surprise, number 9 at 95. And Damian Lillard rounds it off at number 10 at 95. So what do you guys think about that?
I'll let you go first. McLove or John.
Hot take here. I think some of the old heads should be down more. I don't think that Kevin Durant deserves to be at a 96. He barely played last year. Like same with LeBron. I guess you beat Memphis in the playoffs, but you're getting old. You're 38 years old. You're not a 96 anymore. And I thought that Steph should have been ahead of both of them. Damian Lillard should have been ahead of both of them. He was a scoring champion last year. So why isn't he ahead of those guys? You could also you should also make the case like Jimmy Butler shouldn't be a 95. If these are regular season awards or regular season rankings throughout the season,
No, it's
most of his
based on
success was most of his success was in the playoffs. I get it, like in the playoffs, but still, like he's not putting up numbers like the rest of those guys. I do like the fact that like he's he's Jimmy Butler, he's Jimmy Buckets, but he's not putting up numbers like that.
But it's more than just like scoring buckets, dude. Like he makes the teams like that team so much better. Like I can understand after the season he just had, like you gotta think, like you factor in the fact that he took a team that was not supposed to be in the playoffs to the NBA finals. Like, of course his rating's gonna be high. I'm not shocked by that. The only person like I mean, there's really nobody that like shocks me on that list, if I'm being honest, like surprisingly. Um, I think Durant deserves his rating still. Um, I like that they don't have anybody at a 99. I think that was important. Um, yeah, I'm pretty like I hate to say it, like I hate to be like that like bland in my answer, but like I'm pretty satisfied with that top 10. Is there
That's
somebody that
interesting.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like Kevin Durant is his name alone is just getting himself that 96 rating. Because, like McLovin said, he hardly played last year um, on a bum Nets team and then gets traded. 92 at the worst for me would have been okay. I would have been happy with that for him. Jimmy Butler, 95. That's way too high. I mean, come on now. Like McLovin said, he's not doing that much in the regular season, and then he just turns it on in the playoffs. I would have been okay with him being like an 87 to 84 range.
Not 84, but I would say 87 to
The
90
way
maybe.
but the way they even rated Jaylen Brown being an 83, which was like pretty eye opening, you'd think he'd be way higher, or at
I'm
least on
not.
the Jimmy Butler level, in my
That's the
opinion.
rumor mill that he's an 83.
I don't know
I
if I
think he's
would
higher than 83.
if I had to pick like if I had to be the one to give him a rating, I would probably put Jaylen Brown, for example, like to me, 87, 88. I think that'd be a fair rating. I don't think he's
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler caliber yet. I think this year he's about to step it up another level. I think there's going to be a lot
Yeah.
more opportunity for him this year. I think him and Jason have a better idea of what they need to do, and with Smart not there, it's going to be a little bit different for him. So yeah, I'd say he's probably like an 80, 87, 88.
Two
Should be.
things. One, I think he should be around there. Probably maybe more so around 90. He averaged 27 points, like 6 rebounds, 3.5, 4 assists, something like that.
His turnovers is what knocks that back down, though. I get where
Only
you're.
in the
I agree
playoffs,
with for
though.
no all season long. That's been his biggest detriment, and that's the only thing I've never argued with John about. Like in our other conversation, like group chats and things like that. Outside of this, like he's criticized Jaylen Brown like every time about like handles, not knowing how to dribble the ball. It's the only thing I've never argued. He can talk shit about Jaylen any other way. I'll probably debate with you, but when he comes to his handles, nah, he needs to be better about it, and that's what knocks his rating down a bit.
Yeah.
And his free throws, I feel like he just
He
struggles at the line.
he's streaky. He has those game like he has
Yeah.
those like stretches of like 4 or 5 games where like you're not worried about him shooting free throws, but it's the second he misses one, it gets concerning because now you're like, how many more is it gonna take before he gets comfortable at the line again?
Especially when you get
Yeah.
into those tight games.
Mm-hmm.
Down the stretch, you need those points. Every point matters,
Yeah.
especially in the playoffs.
Those
And we,
hindsight
we, we
moments.
saw that.
Yeah, those are those, and that's the thing. You can argue both sides too. You can like it's like on the one hand, it's like when you would get down to the end of the game and you lose by 4 points, and you look at your stat sheet and you guys missed 6 free throws. And you're like, if we just hit our free throws, like we could have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the other side of it too, though, where it's like, okay, cool, but we missed those free throws, and we should have made better. We should have taken better shots after the fact and played better defense. You know what I mean? It's like it's tough. It's tough because like you're like trying to place blame, but there's also the blames on yourself at the same time. But yeah, again, that's another detriment to him. That's why he's not a 90
Yeah.
caliber rating. Like that's why he's not a 90 rating guy yet.
I think he'll be there this year. He needs to have that LeBron James, Miami Heat type awakening, like in the playoffs when he just maybe not in the same league, when LeBron just ducked his head and took it to the hoop and trucked everyone who was in his way. Shaved head LeBron. Yeah. When he first shaved his head. But the other point that I wanted to make was I 100% think that Jokic should be 99. Averaged a triple-double 2 years in a row. He's a 2-time MVP, and he just won the NBA championship, and he was the MVP of the NBA Finals. There's no reason why he shouldn't be a 99 to start the season. I think it's an insult to make him a 98, honestly, especially after, everyone pushed for Joel Embiid to be MVP, and we all saw how that turned out. Jokic had better numbers. He carried his team all the way to the finals. He got progressively better even after he was an MVP. It's a joke that he's not a 99. And I get it, like his defense is a little bit suspect, but it was phenomenal to end the year and to bring them all the way to the finals.
You could argue that, 2 other guys could have been 99s with Giannis and LeBron. I mean, he, towards the end of the season was killing it,
But he slowed down towards the
yeah,
end.
He did
playoffs.
knock Steph out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It was the Jordan Poole situation for them. Just ruined the season.
Dynamic was weird. So my biggest snub for this list, I'm gonna say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Hey, wow, okay.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like he should have been top 10.
No.
Dude, he was like top 3 in scoring last year.
Yeah.
He was a monster.
He's another one I would put up there, 88, 89. Like 87 to 89 range. Absolutely. Like he's made a huge, like he stepped up big this past season. You know what I mean? But he still has a lot of growing to do. And I think he has a lot of development in becoming an even better player. So I don't think he's a 90 rating guy either. Not yet.
Okay,
but he's you got to think he's so young still. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna get up there for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you look at the live updates like throughout the season, like when because they do their updates throughout the year when guys are like going crazy and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you look come December, like come mid-season tournament, like the in-season tournament. If he does what he was doing last year, by the time you get to that tournament, he's definitely probably a 90 at that point.
So I think OKC good with the list. Is going to be they're going to be nice this year. I think he should have made the list too. I mean, he should be in the 90s. He played very well last year. I'll go with Joe though. The only knock I would give him is one, he's a little young, but that shouldn't count against him. But OKC hasn't. They got to make the playoffs. They gotta do something, with him leading the team. And I think that this year is going to be that year. I think the OKC is going to step up this year. They're going to be nice this year. They got big dudes. They got a couple of big dudes. They got his name coming back from injury.
See how Chet does. Yeah.
Chet Holmgren. Yeah.
I think he'll be better than the dude from France, from San Antonio.
Really?
Yeah, that's my prediction. Rookie of the year.
That's a hot take.
Rookie of the year.
Who's going to be Rookie of the year?
Chet Holmgren.
Are you booking it?
Book it, bro.
You locking that in?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. They're both massive.
Yeah, right. I just think Chet's game's a little more fine-tuned, And
he's got that itch. He wants to play. Like he wants to compete.
Yeah, he just sat out a whole season.
Well, yeah, but he broke his foot contesting LeBron in a fucking summer league matchup. Not a summer league matchup. It was like a charity event, wasn't it?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one who's telling us.
Well, that's how I know that's how he broke his foot. He stepped in front of LeBron, and LeBron stepped on his foot and broke it.
What a dick! It's like
he didn't mean to.
What a dick!
It's like that time Mike stepped on my foot and rolled his ankle.
Mike is doing that though.
Stop it.
So anyway, since we're getting into top tens here,
Huh?
let's transition over to the NFL with their
Ooh.
top 100 players. That
Ba-da-dum,
entire
ba-da-dum.
list just came out,
The full
and
list.
the full list.
All
Yep.
right.
So y'all want to hit the top 10?
Yeah, let's get to the top 10.
Yes.
All right, starting with number 10. Chris Jones, Kansas City.
Okay.
Micah Parsons, linebacker,
I'm okay with that.
Dallas Cowboys. You got Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills
Yeah.
at number 8. Tyreek Hill from the Miami Dolphins. Joe Burrow at number 6 from the Cincinnati Bengals. Travis Kelce at 5 from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Nick Bosa from the San Francisco 49ers at 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jalen Hurts at number 3 from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson, number 2 from the Minnesota Vikings. And
Yep.
to wrap up the list at number 1 is Pat Mahomes, which I think we all saw coming. I mean, coming off the Super Bowl, MVP, you know. I mean, he just had a dominant year. Let's face it.
Yep.
But that's the list, guys. I mean, how we feel.
Not I'm not like disappointed. I don't know if I'm fully no, I don't know if I'm fully satisfied with that list, but like none of those names were there was no name on there where I was just like absolutely not. Like that's just stupid. You know what I mean? Like so that's tough. Maybe Mike Jones, I don't know. But like you said Allen was at 6, Josh Allen
Josh Allen was 8.
8, Joe
Yep.
Burrow 6, right?
Yes.
Kelsey 5.
Joe
Okay.
Burrow was 6. Yep.
That was the
Kelce
one I was
5.
thinking of. I would have swapped those two.
Mm, I think Joe's got more upside than Josh. I think Josh is who he is at this
You
point.
think he plateaued?
Not in a bad way. Like I think he's amazing. I love Josh Allen. As a Patriots fan, to say I like anybody on the Bills is like boggling in itself. Like I like Josh Allen.
Love
I
Josh
just
Shame
Allen.
on you.
I just don't know
What?
how much more. I just don't know how much more there is that he can do. Like I think he's done. He's at the peak of his game. I don't think like he's going downhill anytime soon. I just don't think there's like any more ceiling left for him. Whereas Joe Burrow is still young and he's still kind of learning and figuring some stuff out and becoming Big Dick Joe, you know?
Joe has
Like,
been Big Dick Joe.
but like he's still like finding more ways to be Big Dick Joe. I don't like saying this a million times. I feel like I'm talking about myself.
So the biggest talk is Aaron Donald not making the
Yeah.
top 10. That's the
Didn't
biggest
have a
talk
great
so
year.
far.
Yeah, he
Didn't
wasn't.
have the
No,
best
and
year.
I think he's overrated anyways.
I don't know if he's overrated. I just don't like McGovern said. Like, I just don't think he had like a top 10 year.
Yeah, I saw something earlier. I guess him and JJ Watt have very comparable like awards, like both 2-time defensive player, 2 or 3-time defensive player of the year. Both Aaron Donald was offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Comparable in sacks. I just like for me with that comparison, I don't think anything compares to how dominant JJ was for like the 3 years that he was absolutely killing it with the Texans. And I think it far outweighs Aaron Donald in his prime. I know Aaron Donald is a monster, but JJ Watt in his prime was a better player.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean,
Yeah.
dude just need to stay healthy. That was his biggest problem.
Well, yeah, once he after like the 3-year stretch of him getting 20 plus sacks in a season, like they were comparing him to Gronk and being like, oh hey, if JJ Watt became a tight end, would he be the best tight end in the league, better than Gronk? And it was like, dude, no. But it's crazy that they would even try to make that comparison.
Because he caught a touchdown pass that one time.
Hey, JJ was a beast, bro.
What surprised me most about like this year compared to last year was Cooper Kupp just disappeared.
He got
went
hurt.
from having I know.
Well, that's not disappearing. That's
No, I
not
know,
disappearing.
like-
That's getting hurt. Disappearing is like, hey, you have been playing all the time and you're just not doing well. That's like when it disappeared. But being hurt is, hey, I'm not able to play.
But even when he did play, he wasn't like as effective. I mean, maybe he'll turn around this year, but like, I mean, what? All right, here's a good one for you boys. All right, what do you think was a better season, Justin Jefferson's season this year, or Cooper Kupp's season last year?
I don't. I'd have to. Do you have the stats? Unfortunately, I don't usually keep Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp stats readily available.
Who you looking up, McLovin?
I got Cooper Kupp right here.
All right, I'll look up
for this
Justin
past
Jefferson's.
season.
For not this past season, but the season before.
And Justin Jefferson last season.
So in 2021, Cooper Kupp had 145 catches for 1,947 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Yeah, that smokes Justin
that's good.
Jefferson's stats.
Does
Justin
it?
Jefferson, yeah. Jefferson had 128 catches, 1,809 yards, and only 8 touchdowns.
Wow. I thought they were comparable. Justin Jefferson was like steamrolling people.
I mean, Justin Jefferson, the most touchdowns he's had in a season, like he's a beast, but the most touchdowns he's had in a season is 10, and that was in 2021.
Yeah, but he's so young.
Right. No,
yeah,
like,
he's going into his 4th year.
No, I know. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, so I mean, like the touchdown numbers, like, no, like what was Cooper Kupp again?
16.
He had 16.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like Justin Jefferson, like he's a volume guy. He's getting you your yards. I mean, he averaged 14 yards per reception.
128 catches is nothing to sneeze at.
No, on 184 targets.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Absolutely. His yards have consistently gone up about 200 yards over each season. Like 2020, 88 receptions, 1,400 yards. 2021, 108 receptions, 1,600 yards. And then 2022, 128 receptions, 1,800 yards. So I mean, his
needs more touchdowns.
Yo, but think about this though. Like his receptions have gone up year over year. He's gotten 20 more receptions each year. And at the same time, he's averaging like another 2, and then like every catch, another 200 yards, like each season. Like that's crazy. Like he's averaging like 10 yards per catch, 10 yards per reception improvement year over year.
Thank Captain Kirk for that.
Yeah. Yeah, he just unloads
some nice balls.
Yeah, he just keeps cranking him to him. Here you go. I don't know who to throw it to. You're double covered. So here you go.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Like that insane catch he had against the Bills. That one-hander, 4th and 27 or something.
Yeah. Here you go. It was it's like a Minnesota Vikings thing, you know, with their wide receivers. It's almost like when they had Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper.
And Chris Carter.
Throwing it up there. And Chris Carter. I mean, that was unfair. Here you go. Go get it.
Yep.
That Randy Moss stat line, 3 catches for like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't know if I've already talked about that, but it needs to be said again. That stat line is
I
ridiculous.
feel like
Since we're
that's
talking about Minnesota receivers.
I feel like that's a moment where like you could talk about that one forever. I mean, Randy Moss was just that's a different breed of player and human being on the field.
Yeah. I saw a poll where like it was like a guy outside the stadium last year, and he was polling people, who would they rather have, Randy Moss or Justin Jefferson? And I can't tell you how many more people said Justin Jefferson over Randy Moss. It
Wow.
blew my mind,
Put some respect on his name.
right? It's like people are forgetting that Randy Moss is a top 3 receiver of all time.
Depends on what age these people were, though.
Oh, it was a mix,
You know what I mean? But like, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
people being prisoner of the moment and stuff. For
yeah,
sure.
well, because
Yeah.
you're gonna have people who like when they think of Randy Moss, they think of it when he was in Oakland, like on the Raiders.
No,
You know
you're
what I
talking
mean?
about Minnesota Purple People Eaters,
No,
man.
no, but when people
They're
think of
thinking
like
of prime
no,
Randy Moss.
no, but even still, like people think about like what they recently saw. Like you associated with him playing for Minnesota, but like when you think about like the plays, like you're seeing his statistics later on in his career.
I don't think anybody thinks of Randy Moss and thinks of his time in Oakland.
I
That was
think
just a garbage year.
I think depending on your age, yes. Like some people, like if you were
No,
to ask young people, if you were to ask like young people from Minnesota, would you rather have Randy Moss? This a lot of them are gonna think like when they think of Randy Moss, they're gonna picture him on the Patriots.
we do because we're Pats
I mean, we
fans.
would.
Anybody, when you think about a play, like when it's like the same thing. If you talk about people, like if you bring up Paul Pierce, a lot of people don't like outside of Boston. Like some people think of Paul Pierce, younger kids think of Paul Pierce, and they think to like Brooklyn Paul Pierce. They think of like the back end of his career. It's the same way. It's the same argument that people make with like Jordan. Like everybody, always like younger people will argue Jordan about like his Wizard years, like against Jordan. Yeah, I see it all the time. It pops up in my newsfeed all day long. It's ridiculous. But it's just like it's a time period like remembrance where like you think of the player and then you associate it with like a specific time and like negate like the other aspects of like their careers. I'm sorry, I'm getting deep and psychological on you.
Is that why Paul Pierce keeps getting clowned on the internet?
Yeah, because they think of
No.
Paul. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but a lot of people like they see it and they're like, nah, like they think of like Paul Pierce in Washington. It's like, yeah, well, that wasn't Paul Pierce. That's not the version what he's talking about.
Yeah. That's not Paul Pierce. But the D Wade Paul Pierce debate, people clown on him, but he just keeps getting clowned on because he keeps comparing himself to like LeBron.
I would rather have Paul Pierce than D Wade. I'll say it. I think Paul Pierce was a much more clutch player.
Who was
Give
it?
him the
Was it
ball.
was it Jeff Teague that said recently that he doesn't like D Wade or some about D Wade, and he compared D Wade to James Harden because when he goes to the courts,
You're gonna
around
see,
town,
yeah, you said you're gonna see more people playing like James Harden than you are like Dwayne Wade. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they like James Harden has his own individual style, and I would argue that Paul Pierce had his own individual style.
Yeah, he was bumping uglies out there.
Paul Pierce was just getting grind. He just did what he had to do. How he wasn't bumping uglies because that would have probably stopped the game.
No, but you know what I mean though.
He's bumping uglies now for sure.
Wide body dude that would get it mid range, low block area, hit him with a little jab step.
He was
one
fearless.
dribble, step back, fade away. That shit was cash every time. That was unstoppable.
Yep.
That little step back he had. Ooh, man, I loved his game.
You got to bring the ball up to the side so you get the foul at the same time. You get the foul step.
Paul didn't start looking for the foul until like later, like 07, 08, like the back end of his Celtics time. But like back in the day, like early 2000s, Paul Pierce was not worried about getting that foul call. He was just worried about like getting that bucket on you. He wasn't trying to draw shit because it was in the times where they didn't call fouls for little ticky-tack shit.
Paul Pierce was out here dunking on people.
Yeah, like Paul was just like, he used to be like fearless.
All right, guys. So I want to transition away here from sports and talk about Adam Devine's interesting comments in an article I read today. So he says, Marvel movies ruined comedies. They make those movies kind of funny, but it's not real comedy.
Mm-hmm. So,
Is there more context to the quote?
Yes, I will give it to you. All right. Ready? Bear with me now. You watch comedies nowadays and you're like, this is not a fucking comedy. Where are the jokes? Where are the bits? There's still good comedy shows, but comedy movie, it's hard. My theory, I think Marvel ruined it. I feel like superhero movies ruined comedies because you go to the theater and you expect to watch something that costs $200 million to make. And comedy movies aren't that. So you're like, why would I spend the same amount of money to go watch a little comedy in a theater if I can spend that and watch something that is worth $200 million? And they still make those movies kind of funny, like, oh my God, is that a raccoon talking? This is hilarious. Which is it? But it's not a real comedy. End quote.
I mean, I'm a movie guy, so I got some opinions, but I'm gonna let y'all say what you gotta say first.
Me?
Hey, go for it.
I'm going to say that he is not correct about Marvel ruining comedies. I think that Marvel has cheapened comedy or cheapened their own movies by adding comedy to all of them. Like everything needs to have a certain amount of humor to them and everything, but like none of them can be like they all have to be a comedy plus the action movie. None of them can be like a spy thriller or like Winter Soldier type of movie. What really ruined comedy movies was what Matt Damon said. I believe he said it on Hot Ones last year. Is they don't make money from DVD sales anymore. Everything is either you have to make money on the ticket sales going to the theater, or and then it goes right to streaming, and you make barely any money when it goes to streaming. So if the movie's not pulling in, 40, 50, 60 million dollars, then it's not worth being made. But then you have the comedy movies that get made on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu, and most of the ones that get made on Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu are like prototypical cookie cutter comedies that are very safe. They don't test the bounds with some of the humor. It's just very, very safe and niche. Like it. I think that's more or less what's ruining comedy.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
I can agree to some extent, McLovin. I mean, there are a lot of Marvel movies and their TV shows that have a good amount of humor in them. You know what I mean? Like Guardians of the Galaxy, that is a funny fucking movie.
Yeah, I
You
enjoy it.
know? Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies.
But it's not a comedy.
No, but
And that
you don't need to go see a comedy movie anymore. To Adam Devine's point, like you don't need to go see a comedy movie because you're going to get that with all the action-packed stuff. You know what I mean?
it's not even so much that you're gonna get that. It's just the fact that like to his point, like Marvel movies, what? How much do they cost? A couple $100 million to make. And so like now that that's like become like the expectation as a viewer is if I'm gonna go see a movie, I want that kind of value in like invested in it. Like I want that kind of budget behind it. Whereas like most comedies, like you're not gonna get a comedy with a $200 million budget, 250 million. You know what I mean? You're looking at like a 30, $50 million comedy. And it's gonna reflect that in comparison when you look at like the special effects of like a Marvel movie, like people expect that level, like that caliber of film. If I'm paying $20, they're like, well, why would I pay $20 to go see a movie that costs 50 million when I can go spend $20 and see a movie that costs 200 million? when you
Well,
know good and well that the production value is going to be better in 200 million in theory. And that's like what
in
the
theory,
expectation is,
but
that they just throw in jokes to make it a comedy. But it's like every comedy now, it's like it has to have something, like some other element. Like it's like the expectation is that it's not just a comedy. Like his movie that he has coming out, that he was like promoting, in that it's an action comedy, but like because because it's with a streaming platform, because he did it with Happy Madison Productions, like Adam Sandler's like company, they just went like head over heels with the comedy. Like even now, like most comedies is always like this. And I feel like I'm not trying to parrot what he said, like because I watched like his like the interview, like that clip of the interview. But it's just like all comedies for some reason or another, it's like there's always has to be like this moral lesson at the end. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to teach you something
it,
within comedy, like masked with comedy. But like,
it's the Judd Apatow effect.
yeah, there's just no more like just slapstick funny movies. Like they just don't make funny movies that are just funny to be funny. Nothing else. I'm not trying to teach you anything. There's no lesson to learn from this. We just wanted to give you, 90 to 100 minutes of just laugh and laugh and laugh. You know what I mean? So
And
I
that's
do.
super fucking depressing.
Why?
That
Which
there's
which
no
part?
real
Oh,
comedies
okay,
anymore.
okay, okay. I thought you meant
Yeah,
like
I mean,
wanting
I'm
to
like,
make
oh,
somebody laugh for 100, like 100 minutes. Is just depressing. I was like, no, that's great. So yeah, like I do agree with him that like Marvel has kind of ruined like what comedy is. Like comedies used to come out like crazy, and now they're like very few. But the streamers do well.
I wouldn't put that on Marvel though. I just think that they
Well,
found
he says,
some success.
to be fair, he says it was like superhero movies like generally, and like then used Marvel to be specific, because when it comes to superhero movies, I mean they kind of own that space. I mean, I know you have DC and you have the DCEU and everything, but like when you think of a superhero movie, do you think of the Avengers or do you think of the Justice League first?
Shazam was pretty fucking good and funny.
But like, you know what I mean? If I say like, think like first superhero that comes to mind, who comes to mind?
Batman.
Batman.
I knew that. I knew that was gonna be. When you think of superhero movies that are out, do you think of a Marvel movie? Or do you think of a DC movie?
I think of
Well,
Batman.
that's just being a. He said movies, but that's just
Movies.
being a victim of.
Yeah, Batman.
That's just being like the. It's just placating the times because there's so many more Marvel movies that are coming out than DC movies right now.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Marvel is like so
But
prominent. Like that's why he like used Marvel like specifically, but he said
but
superheroes.
why would Marvel prevent other comedy movies from coming out?
It's not Marvel the brand, dude. It's the product.
Why
Yeah,
would
it's
superhero
Disney.
movies? Why would superhero movies prevent comedies from coming out?
Because that's what people like keep going to. That's what the draw is. Hollywood very much works where like we're gonna put the money where the people are going. If everybody's looking for the next superhero movie, well, we're gonna give you the next superhero movie. When the public starts saying we want a good love movie, well, then we're gonna give you a great love movie.
I
You
mean,
don't
are
have
people
to ask
just
for a
not
good
trying to
comedy
laugh
though.
anymore, though?
No, but the thing is, they sprinkle in comedy in so many other genres of movie now that it's like they just forget about the fact that you can make like just an actual comedy. Like they just add funny moments into serious movies because you notice those. You know what I mean? You add a funny moment into like Guardians of the Galaxy, and for a moment you're just like, "Oh my god!" Like there's all this shit going on. These guys are defending the galaxy, and by the way, like I just cracked up because a talking raccoon is talking to a tree.
So, a lot of people online, that's one of their main gripes with the Marvel movies as of recent, is that the comedy inside of the movie is making the movie less serious and making the stakes less serious.
This is
I
where
don't
I don't know.
Marvel is ruining comedy.
But how is that? They're just ruining their own movie. That has nothing to do with comedy, though.
But they're making people not want the comedy as much.
Nah,
When
I
you're
still want to see a
when
good
your
comedy
product
movie,
is
bro.
right, but when your product is driving people away from humor, like you're hurting the comedy in like business. Like you're hurting like those kind of films because it's
I
creating
would say
reluctance. Because what you have to look at it from like these like production companies, these brands, these networks. Like if they hear that everyone's upset that Marvel keeps making their movies so like comical, they're gonna be like, oh, the people don't want like funny stuff. They want more like serious. They want like action. They're okay with jokes, but this is what they really want. And we can just add a little bit of, like laughs in there. And that's what's
I would
happening.
say that that's
That's
I
what's
would
happening.
say that would be the case. But I think history shows in the last 3 years that Marvel doesn't give a fuck what their consumer thinks right now.
No, bro,
Or they're
you're missing
misreading the
my
market.
point. Dude, I'm not talking, I'm saying other companies, when they see like the biggest, like one of the biggest fan bases is the Marvel, like the MCU. As far as like film goes in the theater, Marvel is a huge business. They have one of the largest, if not the largest fan base outside of maybe Star Wars. So
Here's the
when you
problem though. It's
see if you're Paramount, if you're Universal, if you're Warner Brothers and things like that, if you're these companies and you're these writers, you're seeing, hey, well, the biggest like the biggest people out there, like their people are complaining that there's too much humor. Well, we should probably not put out like just straight humor because clearly that's not what consumers are looking for. They love action with some funny. They love romance with some funny. They love a thriller with a little jokes peppered in, but they don't want humor. So it's not so much what Marvel's putting out; it's what other company, like what other production companies are going to put out, what other writers and directors are going to put out, because they're not going to tailor it to comedy anymore. They just know that if they sprinkle it in there, then they're good. And it's taking away like the drive to create like just a pure comedy
I don't see why you can't have it both ways.
because money
I don't see why
talks.
you can't have a comedy movie. No, but like
You
we
can, but
haven't.
people aren't going to put it out because people are complaining about it in other like on other markets.
No, people are complaining about the comedy taking away from the story. They're not like having a comedy movie isn't about the story necessarily. It's about the comedy. Having a Marvel movie is about the superheroes, not the comedy. Just because the comedy is bad in a superhero movie doesn't mean that people don't want comedy.
I understand that, but if you're going to invest millions of dollars into a production, you got to do what's safer to get your return. And when people complain about too much comedy
So
in a
now we're
big
going back
fan
to
base,
Matt Damon's point. Now we're going back to Matt Damon's point. If it's all about the money,
it's all about the money.
yeah. So that's what he said. It's not about Marvel. It's more about the money. It's about making your money back because
So,
people are more likely to go see
so
a
you're
comedy
just gonna
movie
ignore
than
the.
streaming it.
So you're just
It has. I
negating
don't think it
everything
has
I just
nothing
said
to do.
because what Marvel does as one example, but like what Marvel does is what controls the money and what makes people decide where they're gonna put the money for the next investment. So
People
like you
can
can say
only
it's the
put
money,
money.
but the money comes from the
You
movies. The movies
you can
stuff.
only put money in what you control. You can't have another production company putting money in Marvel, right?
You're an idiot. You're completely missing what I'm saying. I can't. I can't.
No, you're saying putting comedy in and sprinkling it everywhere instead of just
Is
having a
what they're
comedy.
doing. That's what's
Yeah,
happening. That's why there's no more comedy.
Do you ever think that maybe perhaps that there's no more comedy movies anymore, but just because like, do you ever think like maybe the actors are just saying no to doing
No,
them?
no.
You don't think that's a possibility?
There's enough people willing to do a movie that's funny.
No, I mean, I don't know. You guys are making compelling points about wanting to make higher budget films. So why would I rather do a lower budget film when I can do a higher budget film?
well, uh, the comedy movies aren't going to make that big of a return at the box office.
Yeah, so as
You
an
know, you're
actor, why would I bother even
They,
going down that pathway
they're still getting
when I
paid.
can just get ripped for like 8 weeks, and do my thing as a
well,
superhero?
Well, another big thing is back in the day, comedians used to make the comedy movies. They used to produce their own comedy movies, and now you're not really seeing that nowadays.
Kevin Hart,
Um,
Heartbeat Productions. He makes several movies, comedy
yeah,
movies.
but
Yeah, but he plays the
I think
same role in all his movies.
No, he doesn't. No, he
Yeah, he
doesn't.
does.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
he does.
Not at all.
All right, but
Not
I
at
mean, the
all.
last like
he kind of does.
the last comedian to come out with a movie was Bert Kreischer this past year. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
and
it,
that
but
it's a movie based on his stand-up.
I heard that it was bad.
yeah,
I'm not a Burt Kreischer fan, so I'm already out on this.
I am no longer a Burt Kreischer fan. I wanted to see it. I do not want to see it anymore.
Why?
What? To which one?
The
Do I
whole
not want to see it, or am I not a fan?
I mean, you said you're not a fan, and now you don't want to see it. So I guess why are you not a fan? Because that should help me understand why you don't want to see it.
I've been watching some of his podcasts, and I really wasn't a fan of a lot of his comedy. He's just a good storyteller. But after watching a lot of his podcasts, he's becoming an insufferable narcissist. Along with Tom Segura, they're both becoming insufferable narcissists and not really that funny. So I don't like them anymore. I don't think that they're funny. And even their content, I'm not really that fond of anymore.
it's because Tom got skinny.
I'm with
It
you.
has nothing to do with that.
I'm with you on Burt, but Tom's, at least as a comedian, is still great. Like his newest special that just came out, hilarious. I've worked
As
with
a comedian, yeah, but his podcast is not as good.
That's fine. Our podcast is probably not as good.
But I also
still
think
got
that,
plenty of listeners.
Tom.
Don't you put that shame
I also-
on us.
I also think that Tom is a narcissist as well. Especially
think-
after he called his fans that were complaining about them gloating on his podcast. He called them losers.
No, he just said, "Don't be losers."
I would
No, he called them
argue.
He didn't.
I would argue that anybody.
Okay, well, he's told them to stop being losers, though.
Yeah, I would argue that anybody who acts or does like comedy or some form of like entertainment to some degree is a narcissist. As somebody who does stand up, I can tell you that to some degree we're all narcissists. Otherwise, we wouldn't go out of our way to like command attention from a large audience.
That's fine. Just don't call your own audience losers, and try to read the room a little bit better.
I want to go back and address something for a minute. John, you said
let's hear it.
Kevin Hart plays the same character in every movie.
You goddamn right.
Elaborate.
What do you mean, bro? I don't think I have to.
How does he play the same the same character in every movie?
It's just him. He's not a good actor. He plays himself.
Have you
seen? No matter what role he does, it's just him.
I would give you a lot more credit on that argument pre-2017.
Well, I stopped watching him after that.
I would say it's amplified post 2017, post the Bryan Cranston movie.
The Upside. Total different type of character than he's ever played before. It's his first actual serious role. I
would say all the other comedy movies he's done post that have been the same character, essentially.
No. The person he isn't his Wedding Ringer character in 2015 and his character in Get Hard, very different characters.
Same.
No.
Yeah.
I'll give you this. His character in Ride Along is very similar to his character in Central Intelligence in 2016.
They're all the same,
but not the same in Jumanji either. Not at all the same kind of person in Jumanji. The Upside, again, like his first real serious role, amazing, completely different type of performance from Kevin Hart. Fatherhood in 2021 on Netflix, that movie was incredible. Another different role for Kevin Hart that outside of his normal repertoire is just a funny character. That's another serious role. What was his other one? He had his series that came out on Netflix as well, True Story, another version of Kevin Hart. Like I said, pre 2017, I'll give you that. Like he played very much the same type of character, but after that, like he expanded like who he was and what he was capable of. Does he still have his roles where he can go back to being like classic Kevin? Sure, but he's definitely stepped out of like that bubble.
That's still 4 movies though.
Okay, I would say Me Time, probably Jumanji, Night School,
Night School, yeah.
Central Intelligence, Ride Along 2, Get Hard.
No, to keep
Get Hard.
No, Get Hard and The Wedding Ringer are separate from like how he.
Listen, he's all the entire in every single one. He's the self-deprecating comedy relief in every single one.
What?
He's self-deprecating comedy relief.
No, I mean I heard the words that you said. Appreciate that.
Yes.
I just don't.
I wouldn't say relief, but he's self-deprecating comedy. In every single one, he plays the same kind of character. He is a married man. He is, trying to get some spice back in his life.
The Wedding Ringer. Talk about
in Me Time, and Get Hard.
Okay,
Me Time.
Hold on, hold on. It's just one thing, bro.
Same fucking plot,
bro.
So he ain't married.
Same fucking plot.
Hold on.
Move on. It's the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
The Wedding Ringer. The Wedding Ringer. Single.
The Wedding Ringer. He's not married, but he wants to get married.
No, he doesn't. He's all about being a player
Bick
until the very
Mitchum,
end.
Man.
He's motherfucking Bick Mitchum, bro. He literally just goes around and just fucks like chicks from weddings every time.
Okay.
Meets one girl finally. Okay, Get Hard. He's married.
Ringer,
sure.
Watch the Jumanji, Ringer and then
Jumanji. He's not married at all. Jumanji. He's literally the avatar in a video game. How is that a married man trying to figure out his life? He's literally an avatar.
Same kind of comedy. Same kind of movie.
He's an avatar that the person who's playing as him is like a 6'5" fucking big black dude who plays football stuck in a little man's body.
He's still playing himself.
Then in the next one, he's a different character.
He's not really acting. He's just being himself.
No, but you giving him that type
Kevin Hart. No. He's just Kevin Hart. That's what he is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. He's just Kevin Hart. That's his comedy. It's self-deprecating comedy. Like he's a small guy. He acts quirky. Like it's fine. But it's Kevin Hart. It's the same comedy. He's great at it. I laugh every time. But a lot of the comedies are cookie cutter. You're good for a couple of belly laughs, and then it's the same kind of Judd Apatow. Like he has to have some finding moment, and then, and then the end. It's. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, John?
No, you're absolutely right. I feel like it's kind of like for The Rock, the same thing too. Like he plays same role.
The Rock plays the same fucking guy every time. I'll give you that. The Rock.
If The Rock plays the same fucking guy,
it's the same thing.
So does Kevin Hart.
No.
No matter what they do, it's the same thing.
One's funny, the other one's not. I don't understand.
Yeah, the other one does action movies, and the other one.
I've given examples of Kevin Hart doing not Kevin Hart. You can't give me a single.
You gave us 4 movies that were all the same.
Okay, give me 4 movies that. What do you mean they're all the same?
Me.
What 4 movies did I give you that were all the same?
All you've given
right
me
along
is
Central Intelligence, Get Hard, and
okay.
I said those were all the same, but I also
all the same.
But
The Rock drives fast cars. The Rock fights monsters. Kevin Hart's in a video game. Kevin Hart.
The difference is though
Central Intelligence. Like it's the same fucking thing.
The difference is once The Rock got big, he stopped playing any other type of role. Kevin Hart did tons of comedy and then stepped out of his comfort zone. Like I said, The Upside, Fatherhood, True Story. Like 3 quick examples right there of him not playing that same character. When was the last time Dwayne Johnson didn't play Dwayne Johnson in a movie?
Ooh, I know. The Game Plan.
Yeah, exactly. Before he got gigantic. Like I said, once he got gigantic,
he bulked up. He
kept doing his
fairy, dude.
Yep.
Again, before he got gigantic.
Get Hard? No. Get Smart? No,
Dwayne
Be
Johnson's,
Cool. It was Be Cool.
He's been the same guy forever. Like he's like once he roided up and got like ridiculous and bald head, like once he became just an oily, jacked dude, like all he does is just fight people. He just kicks ass and takes names. Hasn't changed. Kevin Hart at least has stepped out of his comfort zone in some movies after like being the same version, like the same type of character.
At least we have agreed that he's playing the same character in all these comedy movies.
I did say that he did for a long time. Did I not say pre-2017? That's a solid argument. But after 2017 is when he started stepping outside of his comfort zone.
But I listed comedies post 2017 that Kevin Hart played.
He still did comedies, but I'm saying he did more than just that. Like he broadened his horizons and started doing other roles.
Okay, so we'll agree then that in Kevin Hart's comedies, he plays Kevin Hart.
For a lot of them, I agreed. I said yes. Like for a lot of them, he does.
You told me that he doesn't play Kevin Hart in Jumanji.
Because you said he plays the same guy, a married guy, down on his luck, and I said no because I gave you 4 movies where he was not a married guy down on his luck.
Still Kevin Hart. It's still Kevin Hart. It was a bad example, but
right. So if you're gonna come with an example, make sure it makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
It was literally the plot of 2 of the movies.
That he was married and down on his luck.
Yeah.
Which 2?
Me Time and the one with The Rock. Central Intelligence.
Yeah, that's fine. But you said
same plot.
And The Ringer.
Same plot.
He's down on his luck in The Ringer.
No, he's
he's
not
down
in
on his
The
luck,
Ringer.
He's just not married.
He's not in The Ringer. First off, he's in The Wedding Ringer. The Ringer is with Johnny Knoxville. No, because The Ringer is with no sir. But the listeners don't.
Stop
because
lying.
The Ringer is.
I like these movies.
The Ringer is an incredible movie with Johnny Knoxville. Okay, where he tries to rig the Special Olympics.
That's a good comedy movie.
Absolutely, start to finish. I love that. Some of the best quotes I've ever found in the movie. I absolutely love it. Anytime something gets scratched, I yell, "Scratch! You scratched my CD."
You scratched my CD. What? Is there any good comedy movies coming out?
No. Like they don't even make sitcoms anymore. It's bullshit.
Yeah, so sitcoms, yeah. We talked about this.
Like in the 90s, man.
Oh, there was
a shit ton of sitcoms. They were
but
everywhere.
You know what that was? No, but you know what that was though?
It's a surge.
No, you know what drove that? Like late 80s through the 90s, like all those sitcoms.
Yeah, people wanting to laugh.
No, it was the fact that like no. Realistically, like the biggest thing that drove it was they needed to make television that was appealing to everybody, because it was like it became like appointment TV, because that was back when people were not on their smartphones. We didn't have streaming services. It was whatever was on, like whatever set channels you had, that was it. So they had to make sure they had something that you could get the whole family to sit down every night and watch these shows. Like you had to find a way to appeal to everybody. And it drove that, because it was like, we can throw drama into this, we can throw life lessons into this, and the most of it's just going to be hilarious. Friends, Family Matters, Step by Step. Oh my goodness. Full House, Boy Meets World. I mean, I don't really feel like going down and like the rabbit hole of
According to Jim. King of Queens.
King of Queens is trash.
Everybody loves Raymond.
King of Queens is awesome. Everybody Loves Raymond might be one of the best sitcoms.
Yeah, absolutely. I watch it every night.
Like, fucking hilarious. Frank, he kills it.
I love Frank.
And Robert, I think he might make the show.
What was the last good sitcom?
I mean, a lot of people would say probably The Big Bang Theory. I'm not a fan of it. Not my thing.
I would say The Big Bang Theory is the last.
But a lot of people would say that. If I had to really put my finger on like the last good sitcom, shit, man.
Big Bang.
It's 2.5 Men.
It might be 2.5 Men.
I think it was good with Ashton.
It just wasn't
or
as
or
good.
That 70s Show.
There's been plenty of ones post. But wait, when did that 70 show end?
Like 2010, I think, or something like that.
That's like I could have sworn it was like 2005, 2006. I don't know why I thought it was
Okay,
so long ago.
yeah, end of 2006. You're right. Started 98.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wild.
still great.
That
Yeah,
90s show is pretty
hilarious.
good too. If you
It's
guys
all
have,
right.
I haven't finished it.
I enjoyed
It's
it.
all right. I one thing that I can say about it is I think it just needs to get its foot on the ground with character development. I think it's trying so hard to be like develop characters from the original That 70 Show to where I think a second season will really do it justice, like honing in on the characters that they already have.
Yeah, I think they kind of had to do that though. Like they had to really set it up. Like, I mean, another show that's done that, like that did that in the past, like Girl Meets World. When they came back out with that as like the follow up to Boy Meets World, the first season they really like leaned into the Boy Meets World feel to like it's like a way to like draw people back in. They're like, hey, remember like how cool
No,
this was? Like how many things can we throw at you to just keep you interested? Then you like progress on and you're like, okay, now it's its own product. But like they need that initial like first jolt to like revamp like the interest again because it's something that's like a continuation.
yeah, I don't know. Have you watched The Ranch on Netflix?
Yep.
I
Great
haven't
show.
seen
That
all
was
of it.
Great show.
it. It's pretty good.
Sam Elliott's awesome in it.
I
No,
didn't
the
watch the
whole
last season. Did you not watch the last season, Joe?
I saw all of it. I said that.
Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't watch the last season. I probably should. I just got I felt like I shouldn't watch it because of Danny Masterson. I don't know
Just watch
why.
it, bro.
Yeah.
You still
I
listen to
know.
Michael Jackson, don't you?
He's not in the last season.
No, I know he's not in the last season, but it's like it almost. I feel like it
So what's the
feels bad
problem?
for
I
me to
don't
watch.
understand.
Well, because I feel like it feels one bad for me to watch it, and two, it diminishes the story because they just have to write him off.
They did a decent job.
I watched the episode where like he I don't want to spoil it, but where they
It's been
wrote
out.
him off.
It's been out long enough. You're not. Oh, because
John
John.
hasn't watched it though.
That's the risk
I'd
you
have a
take.
lot of catching up.
That's the risk you take for listening to the Woogity Boys.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil some shit.
That's
Old
true.
shit. Don't
All right, you
spoil.
know, why don't we just use that as a wrapping up time?
Okay. I guess that's
Oh
what's what.
shit.
I guess you don't want to hang out with us.
I guess we out
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
here.
All right, John. I guess bring us out.
Hey, guys, it's been fun. We discussed a whole shit ton of topics today. You know, found some common ground on some things, didn't on others, but that's okay. That's how we get down over here at the Woogity Bows podcast. So, till next time, this is Sheridan here.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Joe.
What up?
See
Oh,
y'all next
also,
time.
anything that you think we should watch that we're talking about that has anything to do with the talking about, leave it in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Catch you next time.
Peace.
Deuces.